Author of the book Why Buddha Never Had Alzheimer's, Dr. Shuvendu Sen analytically considers meditation as a way to prevent the loss of memory. His book is getting rave reviews from the medical organizations. He sat down with Ashok Vyas for an extended conversation.
The correct definition of Alzheimer's is much more than a single line, which is adding to the complexity of the disease. Let's say, unlike other cognitive disorders like depression, where we know what is happening, it has a very uniform presentation. Even in other cognitive disorders like bipolar disorders, schizophrenia, unlike all of these, Alzheimer's presentation is very varied. And which is why I say we are scratching the surface, because it is not just about, oh, I don't know where my bathroom is, or I don't know where I parked my car. It is much more than that. The presentation of Alzheimer's could be memory loss. It could be the fact that I don't know the right words. I cannot express the right words.
Is that also a kind of memory loss?
It is very much a part of memory loss, but there are many other things that comes with memory loss. As I said, word finding problem, even personality identification problem. I may not recognize you as Mr. Ashok Vyas. I'm talking to you, but I'm thinking you're someone else.
Okay, so this is where I was saying that my problem area starts. So when you're talking about meditation and mindfulness, you are looking at someone who is capable of making use of his or her mind in a way whereby you reach to stillness and looking at your true identity, etc. So all that goes out of the window to my mind as a layman if you're suffering from Alzheimer's.
Correct.
Or what you are doing, it's very difficult for any doctor or even your husband or wife to know what is going in your mind.
Right. So the purpose of the book is not to say that by meditation you can cure an advanced form of Alzheimer's. The purpose of the book was to bring to the forefront the absolute necessity to have meditation in order to prevent the onset of Alzheimer's.
Yeah, so the complete title of the book as subtitle after Why Buddha Never Had Alzheimer's is A Holistic Treatment Approach Through Meditation, Yoga and the Arts. So when you say treatment approach, it is more of preventive treatment.
More of preventive, purely of preventive. And you raised a very important point, because if the faculties of the brain are already lost, how am I going to convince myself to take a corner, sit in a lotus position and meditate? So this is all about the fact that in a society where we are so drug dependent, we are so dependent on prescriptions, I myself included because I prescribe also, there are certain other modalities which can prevent the onset of a disease rather than wait for the disease to come and we have these medications to bring down their signs and symptoms. So this book is a take on two things. One, from Alzheimer's point of view, that meditation is a way to prevent the onset of Alzheimer's, and from I guess from a much more holistic point of view, where we need to understand that there are modalities that we need to entertain which can actually prevent a disease to come, rather than wait for the disease to be established and then attack it with drugs.
So that makes a lot of sense. And if I, with your permission, take page 11 where you are introducing the book and read few lines, and they might not be very pleasing overall in terms of your own experience, but give us the reference of the context, which is where you say, I was one of Grandma's favorites. She was hell-bent on making me a poet, but Grandma spent her next 10 years trapped in her own emotional confinement, powerless to live, yet powerless to die. When she died at the age of 82, I had entered 6th grade. Years later, well into my medical journey, I wondered at the suddenness of it all. How could a brain of such superior intellect shut down so quickly? What triggered such an agonizing collapse? Did Grandma see it coming? So when you started reflecting back on the life of your own grandmother as someone who was trained in the medical, what additional thoughts or probably conclusions.
Right.
came.
So the question is, why did I start with grandma? And in fact, I dedicated the book to my grandma is because that's another myth I wanted to address. The common myth that we have is that if you are scholarly, if you're academic, then you will not have the disease. It's a complete myth. Because my grandmother during those days, she was a scholar, she was a poet, and she wrote regularly. She was a very successful and well-respected scholarly individual, and I'm talking about in the 1940s and the 1950s. So for her to get into a state of Alzheimer's was shocking to me. At a young age, I could not fathom as to how someone who was constantly with books, who was constantly using the brain, could get into such a vegetative state. Now, 30 years down the road, we are still grappling with the same question. We still do not know why and how someone who is educated, academic, scholarly would end up with Alzheimer's.